So PS, thank you Swallowable for reacting to my video and realizing I was very off topic in that one Arc Raider video I did. So, people underestimate the Arc too much. For example, they are ruthless and often attack in groups. A single wasp can be easy to kill, but two Hornets and a Rocketeer descending on an exposed team can wipe out an entire coordinated trio in like seconds. Even basic units like Wasps can shred players, shields, and health very quickly if they catch a raider in the open. That is, even then without the open, they can still do a lot of damage. It hits hard. Anyways, I'm gonna go over the bigger units more often, like the bigger units, like the Matriarch, because they're the really heavy hitters here. So, just as a general gist, the smaller units are like human level to below human. Unknown units like, let's say, the Arc Orbiter, or City Block, or even Small City Destructive Range. The Arc Orbiter scaling, which the Orbiter itself is not a standard persistent enemy until you fight directly on the ground. It's a game mechanic and a major lore element. A massive satellite or a mothership that enforces sterilization protocol from orbit at the end of every match timer, obviously. When the interaction timer runs out, the Arc Orbiter descends from the atmosphere and delivers a massive meteor-like orbital strike to deliver the area of operations. To strike, small ball gang. So the blast itself is designed to wipe out remaining life on the surface in that specific zone, sending out shockwaves and cutting off players from the server if they don't interact in time. The in-game god Shani warns that orbital assets are being repositioned to wipe the AO clean. The attack is portrayed as a very apocalyptic, an area-wide destructive event within the game's map. So, in general, I would scale this to like city block level to small city level, given the lore that the elites from on the orbiter plan to wipe out the remaining humans on Earth with these kinds of attacks, and the visual effect of the massive descending object is its full power is likely in the small city level range. It's a localized extinction event for that map area. So since the other arcs technically aren't necessarily out, I know we're getting more arcs like the Emperor probably, or either that is just a large kind of background thing to like say, for players to say like, oh hey, look at that cool thing. Anyways, I'm going over off topic again. So I'm also going to be responding to his take about Autoka and how I give it. I know Autoka himself in a 1v1 is a massive W for him, for Autoka, especially in his mech. But I want to explain why exactly that is a bit unfair for the arc. Putting Autoka into a 1v1 gauntlet against individual arc machines isn't a firefight. It's actually a massacre of skill and very specialized intelligence. The Auto in this set isn't a machine, it's literally a towering walking fortress half the size of a mountain, or just a small mountain built specifically to siege human strongholds and raid high-tech debris. While arc machines like the Matriarch are elite tactical units, they are designed to fight a squad of humans, raiders especially, not a 60-meter tall marionette pilot by a genius arthropod that treats skyscrapers like building blocks In a 1v1, Autocad's raw environmental manipulation completely invalidates standard machine protocols. He doesn't even shoot back, he just pulls out a massive dragon and giant metal grinders directly from the earth to use as a ballistic spear. Bro, it delivers enough force to possibly penetrate the hide of very legendary dragons in the universe. The scales in question are far more dense than any chassis of a standard arc unit. Most arc machines rely on agility or energy shields, but Autocad can literally bind them in place with high tensile golden silk, or just crush them under a stomp that creates a massive shockwave. Furthermore, the Neset's health is very deceptive. While it can be dismantled the pilot is safely tucked away in silken cocoon at the very heart of the mecha. Um, in a gauntlet, a single arc machine has either the sustained firepower nor the verticality to reach the core before that being swatted by the Neset's tail or just being overwhelmed by debris Autocar hurls. So essentially, you're asking a military drone to solo a sentient building-sized siege engine that is actively rebuilding itself with silk as it fights. That's not a contest of tech. It's a very contest of mass and adaptability. The Autocar has both in terrifying abundance. Like, the reason a 1v1 is a death sentence for the arc, but a swarm of arcs makes it a very much more fair fight when it comes down to fundamental nature of Auto Neset. It's a slow-moving structural house of cards, quote-unquote cards, held together by silk. While a single machine is easily crushed, a coordinated legion of arc units turns the encounter into a tactical demolition. Autoka is a very intelligent pilot, but she is biologically limited in how many threats she can track at once. When you introduce multiple matriarchs or queens and rocketeers, you basically create a target saturation that her primitive, albeit genius silk-based sensors can't handle. While she focuses her massive stomps on Bastion units, or Matriarch can utilize their gas motors and high-velocity projectiles to melt the silk bindings on her toes and joints and flanks. I mean, from the flanks, my fault. And unlike human hunters, arc machines don't get tired and don't miss. They provide a relentless 360-degree barrage of high-caliber fire that exploits Neset's greatest weakness, its fragility. The Autoka Neset is made of scrap and debris. It lacks the integrity of a military-grade plating found on arc chassis. By attacking the cocoon and support structures simultaneously, the arcs can force a structural collapse far faster than AutoCAD can gather debris to repair it. Furthermore, the specialized tools of the arc bosses, like the Queen's EMP pulses to disrupt any potential electronics, with a matriarch's ability to summon waves of smaller units, turn the battlefield into literal no man's land. The arc machines essentially turn the Autocon Neset skill against it because it becomes a massive unmissable target for a swarm of precision drones that can kite its slow attacks indefinitely. In this scenario, it isn't a monster hunt. It's a clinical automated dismantling of scrap metal, a walking fortress. It's just a very dismantling of a massive siege robot via just superior coordinated technology. So, do I believe Autoka could potentially win? Yes, but it's gonna be like extreme diff. I can see Autoka taking a few rockets, but when we're talking about a whole coordinated assault from arcs, that's not a fair fight. I made this video because I realized my video I did in the past about the art machines was extremely off topic, and thank you, Spottable. I hope you see this because I want you to do an Autoka versus like a very coordinated assault against the arc machines.